Hi, I'm Joe White. Welcome to Behind the Curtain, episode number 67. And I have wonderful guests today. I have Alison Rose, the marketing and outreach and staff producer, award-winning editor. Alison Rose, welcome.
Hi.
Hello, and you're in Maine today, right?
I am in Maine, yeah. Yep.
Excellent. And I also have Connor Donovan, an award-winning cinematographer himself, actor and editor, an all-around good guy. Connor Donovan, and you are not in Maine.
I'm not. I'm in Cambridge.
Cambridge, excellent. Well, welcome. I am not on a beach, but I have a new co-host behind me. We won't name him or her until later, but we're here today to talk to Alison and Connor about Crowdsource, which is a Brookline organization that does films, full-length films. But Alison, why don't you explain a little bit about what they do and what WACA has been doing that you, Connor, and I have been involved with over the last 3 to 4 years?
So 4 years ago, Brookline Interactive Media Group decided to do this massive project where they wanted people to recreate movies. The idea started out in Northampton with, Indiana Jones, and everybody saw that and they're like, all right, this is really cool. So each group gets a scene and you have to recreate the scene to the best of your ability. You can recreate it by doing cartoons. You could try to make it as realistic as possible. We tend to go towards the realistic side of things and try to make things as realistic as possible and recreate the scenes to almost a T. But the idea is the community gets together and gets to recreate a movie with different actors and different styles, and it's a really cool process.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, Connor, you've been involved with it as well from the beginning as well in multiple capacities. You've acted in a bunch of them. You've recorded and edited a bunch of others. So what's your experience been with the project?
Yeah, it's a super cool idea. And I think seeing how different people attack the scenes that they're given, especially if they're like complicated scenes, like Back to the Future was the first year, and we participated in Back to the Future, and we decided to kind of go out on a limb and really kind of send it with the special effects. But a lot of some people decided to like cartoon it, or some people decided to like green screen it and do other things. But yeah, I was Marty McFly for the Back to the Future one. And then the year afterwards, we got Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and I was Ferris for the next year, which is kind of a dream of mine. But, you know.
Well, I was going to say that. So speaking of Back to the Future, when we first did this, I was very excited to be part of it, and I played the doc to your Michael J. Fox character, Connor, and I just was curious on the meetings that you all held about how do we do this? What was some of the creativity or some funny stories that you can remember about filming Back to the Future?
So one of the first things, one of the scenes we got had a DeLorean in it. And so we were like, all right, how can we figure out how to get a DeLorean? We need to figure out how we're going to make this as realistic as possible. My dad owns an automotive shop, so he knows a lot of people with cars. Plus knows people with the classic cars. He tried really, really, really hard to find a DeLorean.
We almost got one, right?
Yeah, we almost got one, but then it fell through. So we ended up with a smart car. And there's a big difference between a DeLorean and a smart car.
But if you're going to go big, you might as well go, if you can't go really big.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that was probably the best part, because the scene we got, we're like, it takes a lot of it takes place inside the DeLorean. So Connor's driving this smart car. I'm filming with a camera, and then we have Todd, who was another one of the people working on this project. I don't even remember what he was doing, but the three of us were smushed into this little tiny smart car. The smart car should not hold 3 people. And I think it was the most fun we ever had.
Do you have any outtakes?
While filming it.
Do you have any outtakes of the Back to the Future piece? Did you find it? So.
I don't think so. Unfortunately, that was about 4 years ago. Drives have failed. We've gotten new computers since then.
Gotcha.
I don't think we have any outtakes, but yeah, we got very creative filming. I think at one point we had Todd hanging out of the trunk of my car, filming the smart car as it went down the road as well.
And that smart car, like, we that smart car for the shot, it had to accelerate really fast because it's like when Marty's taking the DeLorean back to the future from 1955. So the thing's got to accelerate. And so we're like, okay, well, let's just slam on the accelerator of the smart car. But it turns out smart cars, they don't really accelerate that quickly. And so actually the shot that you see in post has to be sped up. We actually had to like speed it up to like, I don't know, 125 times or 150 times to make it look like that smart car was actually going the way that it should be going.
There was a lot of special effects done with that one because we had 2 scenes in that one. And the other scene, we had Joe hanging off of the clock, but we weren't going to stick him up on a clock. So we stuck him on a green screen and he's hanging off of this fake clock. And we green screened the town hall behind
No, it was a high
him.
school.
That was at that. No,
it was at the high school. Yeah, it was at
my
the high
favorite
school.
story of all of the filming is that being at the high school, starting to prep it all, having it all set up with me hanging there and other people hanging around, ready to get filmed. The police arrive and tell us, "What are you guys doing here after hours, late at night? Are you guys trying to break into the school?" Because it looked like what we were doing was hanging out, trying to figure a way to get into the school. Unfortunately, our fearless leader, Barbara, maybe didn't make one phone call to secure the ability for us to actually be there. But it all got rectified after they put us all in jail for the night. But that's another story altogether.
Good minor setback.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's take a look at the behind the scenes of Back to the Future. Let's watch that now, and when we come back, we'll talk about Ferris Bueller.
Come on, just this once, please. Please, just this once.
That brought back some good memories. I love that. Great job in the car, Connor. I love that. The switching.
Thank you. I'm a stunt
Great
driver,
editing.
actually.
Good stuff. So Ferris Bueller was the next year, 2018. We did Ferris Bueller. Connor, you said it was a dream of yours. Why is that?
Yeah, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is actually my favorite movie of all time. And I'm a little bit of a cinephile, so I've seen a fair bit of movies in my day. But Ferris Bueller has always been, like, since I was a kid, it's been one of my favorite movies. And so, like, when we got approached to do, like, the scene that we got, which is the scene where Ferris narrates to the camera after he fools his parents into thinking that he's sick, I was like, you gotta let me do this. I don't want to say that I've been dreaming for it my whole life and I know all the lines by heart, but I've been dreaming for I've been dreaming of it my whole life, and I know all the lines by heart. So.
And my Alison, I got to ask you, the scene that you were filming in the shower. You said you had some interesting way to set that up. So how'd that go?
So that was interesting. We just like sticking people in really small places. So it was me and Connor standing in a shower, and we had the sound guy who was also Todd, once again, holding the microphone into the shower, but like over the shower rod. And first we tried to make the water warm so Connor wouldn't freeze. And that was fogging up the camera lens. So we had to make it absolutely freezing cold. And he's standing under there. We're like, all right, we only can do this in a couple takes because.
Yeah, I remember the scene where you had to add the graphics of like where he explains how to do it, where he's like talking about the clammy hands and licking your palms and stuff. That scene took us so many tries to do because it's like a long monologue, but he also takes a trophy and he starts tying a little like knot around the trophy. So when the door opens later in the movie, he like springs up from his bed.
Yes.
He like fashions this whole thing, but he's doing that in the scene where he's tying this knot and also reciting all the lines. I just couldn't do that for some reason. And so the take that we actually use is me just kind of like throwing the rope and like looping it around and then just kind of throwing the trophy to the side because I was just like, I just want to get through this shot.
That's amazing. I mean, there was so many. It was a great. I think there was filming done at the high school again. Another theme.
Yeah, because we were given 2 scenes for that one as well. That was the one where Ferris is getting Sloan out of class. So that requires a Ferrari and a school bus. And it's a red Ferrari. We were able to get a black Ferrari. And we also got a school bus, which was pretty cool. But that scene was, I think, really well done.
Yeah. I loved watching that and the ability. And so the other actors that were in that with you was Bob Maber played the principal, and Brittany Kratner played Sloan, right? Mm-hmm. That's all. And credited or uncredited in the back seat, Tanner Bradley was sitting back there, I believe, as once again cramped in the back seat. Remember him sitting in the back, and he's like, "What should I wear?" And you're like, "Well, you're not actually going to be seen. You're just going to be wearing. I don't care what you wear."
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
He went out to Target, bought a whole outfit so he could like look like the character in the movie, and we're like, I just need your voice.
There was somebody told me that. So actually, Katie, I don't know if Katie may actually, who's very involved in that piece, ended up, I think, either taking it back to Target for him or reimbursing him of the money. He said, I wouldn't have bought this anyway. But, so anyway, let's sit back and watch this.
I remember that I didn't get to drive the Ferrari for that scene. And that's actually a stunt driver, technically. I guess.
Oh, because it wasn't the owner of the car. Remember the owner of the car?
Yeah, the owner of the car ended up driving the car away.
I was all ready to do it, and I asked the guy if I could do it, and he said sure. But then I got there, and it was a manual transmission.
Yeah,
I don't know how to drive stick shift, and so it was like, I don't want you to ruin the transmission of this Ferrari, so I'm going to drive it. And I was like, that's fine.
That worked very well. And the school bus worked out well too.
Yeah, the school bus was great.
And they let us drive the school bus around for nights. They just kept bringing it every night. It was great.
I mean, that's all our part-time jobs now. We just drive the school bus around. Got to get some extra cash somehow. Yeah.
Great. And look, and you know what? You can pick up all your friends and be socially distant with them because they could each sit 3 rows behind each other, and you could still be with everybody. So you don't need to be cramped in a smart car. So, but yeah. Anyway, so Ferris is one of my favorite ones that we've done. So let's sit back and watch the 2 scenes that was done for Ferris Bueller's Day Off 2018.
Incredible. One of the worst performances of my career, and they never doubted it for a second. How can I possibly be expected to handle school on a day like this?
This is a test.
This is my 9th sick day this semester. It's getting pretty tough coming up with new illnesses. If I go for 10, I'm probably going to have to barf up a lung, so I better make this one count. The key to faking out the parents is the clammy hands. It's a good, non-specific symptom. I'm a big believer in it. A lot of people will tell you that a good phony fever is a dead lock, but if you get a nervous mother, you wind up in the doctor's office. That's worse than school. You fake a stomach cramp, and when you're bent over, moaning and wailing, you lick your palms. It's a little childish and stupid, but then so is high school. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. I do have a test today. That wasn't bullshit. It's on European socialism. I mean, really, what's the point? I'm not European. I don't plan on being European. So who gives a crap if they're socialists? They could be fascist anarchists. Wouldn't change the fact that I don't own a car.
I recall Central Park and fall, how you tore your dress. What a mess, I confess.
It's not that I condone fascism, or any ism for that matter. Isms, in my opinion, are not good. A person should not believe in an ism. He should only believe in himself. I quote John Lennon. I don't believe in Beatles, I just believe in me. Good point there. After all, he was the walrus. I could be the walrus and still have to bum rides off people.
Once again, let me tell you how deeply saddened I am by your loss. I had a grandmother once. 2, actually.
Deficit? Who was paying attention? Anyone? Anyone know?
Man that is born of woman hath but a short time to live and is full of misery. He cometh up and is cut down like a flower. He fleeth as if it were a shadow and never continue within one's day. Between grief and nothing, I'll take grief.
Great.
Oh, Sloan, dear. Hurry along now.
Guess that's my dad. Gotta go. Mr. Rooney, Ed, you're a beautiful man. I want to thank you for your warmth and compassion.
Higher what? Rates? Anyone? Higher marginal rates on your taxes?
Shit.
Questions so far?
Hi.
Do you have a kiss for Daddy?
Are you kidding?
Huh. So that's how it is in their family.
Hi, Cameron. You comfortable?
Hi, Sloan. Nope.
What are we gonna do?
The question isn't what are we going to do, it's what aren't we going to do.
Don't say we're not going to take the car home. Please don't say we're not going to take the car home.
If you had access to a car like this, would you take it back right away? Neither would I.
See, Connie, you did know all those words and those lines, so I don't think you had any problem with the dialogue. It's the actual dialogue while doing something has always been a challenge. It's been a challenge for me. I can't multitask. I can't think and talk at the same time. That's what my wife says anyway, so we'll see. But so 2019, we got asked and respectfully declined to do Beetlejuice. Now, Alison, you said you've never seen the movie before. Connor, do you know the movie Beetlejuice?
I know the musical.
Okay. So one of probably the reasons that we all declined on it, and we were so busy doing so many other projects that year. We did a couple of films. We did so many different things. We wanted to give it our full attention. So we passed on Beetlejuice. And jumping ahead to 2020, we were given Castaway. And when I first heard that, I'm like, I don't swim, so I don't know if I want to be an actor in it. So the only scene I'd ever want to do was the one scene that we got. And I'm like, just like Connor, who was like, I said, first of all, that movie is a great movie. But that one scene of him sitting in the pouring rain, with his ice in his glass was one scene I loved. And when Barbara sent it over to me, she said, "This is a scene we got." I go, "Yes!" And I remember Allison's reaction was, "We should get a better one than that." So I remember that, and I said, "Oh, I'd love to do this. Can we get two? We'll do two and whatever." But I just absolutely love that one scene. But I don't know, Allison, what would you have wanted to have done in Castaway if we got a different one?
I really wanted to do something when he was out in the woods that maybe involved a little bit more technique filming wise, because the scene we got is really only one shot.
You had to go around in a circle.
I know. It was difficult. It was difficult when we actually had to do it. It was more difficult than I thought it would be.
Pool.
Yeah. But putting it together just felt too easy. I was done within like 20 minutes. And I'm like, because we don't have to add the sound effects or the music tracks.
Yep.
They add it for you. So we just really get the picture and the dialogue. So I'm like, it was far too easy. We've done nothing really creative all year. And I was looking forward to having like a super creative, like, let's hang you off of the wall of the high school again and spend days filming this.
It was remarkably simple by comparison.
Yeah.
Compared to all the other stuff we've done.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was no shower scenes. There was no Ferraris. There was no buses. There was no other cars that we needed to get. No one was hanging from blocks. It was very easy. The only thing we had to wait for was Jerry Halfide to show up on time and luckily he was off book, because I was worried, you know, when an actor's not ready, it's always makes it more difficult to film. But luckily he was off book for that. So that was good. But, so now I actually enjoyed it from an acting perspective. I understand it from a cinematography perspective. Like, it's not that challenging. It's not that wonderful editing wise. How do I play with it? But, so I'm hoping that eventually we're going to get to do some more films again and get, I told you and Barbara, Allison, that I've got a whole bunch of screenplays, short little films kind of in queue. I would love to have Wacka be part of that coming up soon. So, so Castaway, let's go sit back and watch that scene and come back and talk about some of the things. I have a couple of questions for Connor and Allison, but let's watch Castaway.
We both did the math. Kelly added it up, knew she had to let me go. I added it up, knew that I had lost her. Because there was no way I was getting off that island. I was going to die there, totally alone. I was going to get sick or injured or something. The only choice I had, the only thing I could control, was the when, the how, and the where it was going to happen. So I took a rope and I went up to the summit to hang myself. I had to test it, you know. You know me. The weight of the log snapped the limb of the tree. I couldn't even kill myself the way I wanted to. I had power over nothing. That's when this feeling came over me like a warm blanket. I knew I had to stay alive somehow. I had to keep breathing, even though there was no reason for hope. Even though all my logic said I would never see this place again. So that's what I did. I stayed alive. I kept breathing. And one day, that logic was proven all wrong. Because the tide came in, and it gave me a sail. Now here I am. I'm back in Memphis, talking to you. There's ice in my glass. I've lost her all over again. I'm so sad that I don't have Kelly, but I am so grateful that she was with me on that island. now I know what I have to do. I have to keep breathing, because tomorrow the sun will rise. Who knows what the tide could bring.
Wow, I could see what you mean by editing there. That was tough to edit, but at least you didn't fall in the pool, which I remember as the scene was going on, Connor would just, as you were getting closer, he would leave the mic stand and go behind you just to make sure you don't dip in, because we don't want you to. I could have jumped in any time, but I just didn't want you to get soaking wet I could just see the camera flying in the air.
I know. I know. I would see Connor move out of the corner of my eye and be like, all right, I'm getting close to the pool. I'll stop moving.
And
that's what all personal assistants do on set. They just make sure that actors don't fall in pools.
And good money goes there, right now. That's where it should be. And once again, we had the birds come in and do their thing, and it's tough to get them through SAG, but they were able to do their little chirping and thing. Now, I don't know if they're going to get drowned out with the sound effects that they add up later, but the cut that you had.
There are not any sound effects. There's no music under that one. So the scene that you saw is the scene that will be in the film.
Wow. Excellent. Yeah. Well, that was very good. So my question to the two of you, and you can think about it if you want, maybe Connor already answered it, but if we were to do another one, what would be your favorite one to do? And which one would you want to film? And if you're an actor, Connor, which one would you want to be in? So that maybe Connor, you have two. Alison, you don't act, but you could. What would you want to be in? And I'll start with Alison, because it looks like she's ready to answer.
I would love to do a Harry Potter film. I feel like the first Harry Potter film would be a lot of fun. It's my favorite franchise, and I think there's a lot of cool things, but it would be so difficult. It would, with all the magic and the moving staircases, I just wouldn't want one of those scenes.
What from a cinematography perspective, is there a specific scene you have in mind that you would go to? Let's say, like, I would love to redo this, or how would I do it? Or is it just any part of it?
Not really anything, just anything. Yeah, anything. Yeah. I don't think there are more difficult scenes, and this was the first year that we have not gotten a super difficult scene. So we can handle difficult scenes. Mm-hmm. It would just it doesn't matter, just any scene. Yep. Maybe one not with a lot of actors. Something with just a small amount of actors would be better.
Speaking as a cinematographer, actors are difficult people.
Yeah.
They mess up more than anything.
Yeah. But
Okay, so Harry Potter. Okay, that's interesting. Connor, what would you do cinematography wise and or acting wise, or one of each?
Yeah, so I thought about it, and I went and I rewatched the Good Will Hunting park bench scene. And it actually styled a lot like the Castaway scene we just did, where it's a pretty long take that it just kind of orbits around Robin Williams, giving that speech. I like to be Matt Damon, just kind of bounce off him a little bit. But in terms of an actual cinematography scene, if you've seen the movie Snatch by Guy Ritchie,
yes,
there's this scene at the end of the movie where Brad Pitt, he's in a boxing match with this guy, and Guy Ritchie does all these like crazy like slow motion, like crazy cuts, because there's just like this frenetic boxing match, and it'd be really, really hard to do, but it'd be fun.
Yeah. There we go. So what do you think about potentially thinking of trying to do one of these, maybe the park bench scene one, because it's more simple to do that one, or maybe is there something in Harry Potter that we could try to think of to maybe just do as a project for our own piece, just to get something going. I think this creativity in today's times is getting sparse, and would love to spend, even like take a day and film one of these things and try to get it done. Because I love doing Castaway, because as an actor, it helped me. I got up in the morning, I rehearsed my lines, I worked on them, I tried to figure out how I'm going to deliver them, and I was ready when you guys showed up to say I'm going to deliver this, and it just felt so good. But when it went away, I was like, I'm done. When you guys were walking out the door saying we're done filming, and I got to see the end product, but that whole process to build up to it, I missed that. So what do you think if we could pick something? Maybe we could pick the Robin Williams scene.
I think that's a really good scene, and it's something achievable. It's outside because with everything going on right now, I think outside is the best place to be.
Yep.
And
so why don't we try to plan something like that for one of our next episodes coming up, to say coming down the road? I think that might be an idea. Let's think about that. So Connor, maybe I'll task you, if you know of a way to get that clip or that section of the clip to us, what the dialogue is, and maybe we can kick it around to three of us to figure out where we can do it, who needs to be in it, and take it from there.
Yeah.
Want to do that?
Yeah.
Excellent.
We can go to the Common if we want.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, listen, thank you both very much for joining us today here. And I loved watching those shows again. Back to the Future, Ferris Bueller, Castaway. It was fun to see, fun to do. I'd like to do more of that kind of stuff, and love to work with you more in the future. So Alison, as you know, what we have coming up in Halloween the next few weeks, I'm going to be giving you 8 scenes from the 2014 Daymares on Oak Street play that we did. And we're going to start airing those on WACA starting on October 24th, 1 a night, all the way through Halloween. And they're short scenes. Some of them are only 5 to 10, some 12 minutes, no big ones. But Barbara wanted to have you run them. She's going to schedule them. I don't know how she does the scheduling, but I will load them up to Dropbox. There were 8 different Daymares on Oak Street scenes. And air them is what you want. I'm going to be popping them up on YouTube in about a week or so as well. And that's going to be our next project.
But Joe,
perfect.
Are they spooky?
There are some mystery ones. There are a couple of funny ones. There's a couple of, there's 2 of them were spooky. Some of them were kind of funny, crazy kind of stuff. Some of them were better than others. But you know what? It was our second show we ever did. So I'm pretty proud that the fact we actually did a show. And I miss doing shows. And I don't know when we're going to do another one on stage inside of a auditorium where we're going to have people. But it might be a long time before that happens. But so let's try to be creative in other ways. And I look to have the both of you be part of that.
That'll be fun.
That'd be great. Well, listen, thank you very much. And I appreciate it. See you guys next time on Behind the Curtain when we do episode number 68, in which the game plan is I'm going to reach out to many, many different people and discuss what their favorite joke is. And they're going to record their favorite jokes, submit their best jokes, and Alison, Connor, and I will look at them and evaluate which ones are going to make the show. So if you've got a good joke out there, submit it and send it in to ashlandcommunitytheater@gmail.com, and we want you on video to tell that joke.
Joe,
Let's see how good of a joke teller you are. Yes,
Joe,
sir?
Joe, I've got one.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo who?
Why are you sad?
Okay, so that may make it. It's ought to be up to Alison, Connor, and I to see if it does. So we have many, many more jokes like that coming up, and hopefully almost as good as that. Thank you very much. See you guys next time.